Welcome to the first episode of SimpleRudd. On this go-through, I will be building a mini ITX, and I've kind of gone overkill with all the components by quite a margin. I got the i9 9900. It's not gonna work, baby. Welcome to SimpleRudd. This is my first YouTube video, so it'll be a little rough around the edges, but my overall goal is to continue building custom PCs and learning as I go. This will be about my third computer build, so I'm by no means an expert. This is not meant to be a tutorial. It'll be more of a build log, and maybe once I get used to stuff like doing custom loops and things like that, then I'll kick into doing some tutorials and teaching. A lot of what I'm hoping to do is give you the courage to go ahead and try a custom loop on your own. I have a lot of friends who have built PCs who have not quite dived into any form of liquid cooling due to the risk. And I'm just going all for it in this build. So we'll see how it works out. I also want to take and maybe try some acrylic panels to hide stuff as well, and really dig into some custom work on this build and see where it goes. So for this build, I chose the Shift X for the case, which I really liked because I want to go with kind of a Wayne Tower Joker theme when it's all said and done. And I felt like that case gave me the ability to explore some really custom aspects of that without going too crazy or overboard. Now with that case, I am stuck with going with the mini ITX build, which is pretty much small form factor, even though, as you can tell, the case is not very small. It does hold quite a small footprint though. It's really not going to take up a lot of desk, it's just going to be tall. I went with ASUS for the motherboard. One big reason is I really love ASUS. My original build had the Sabertooth build. Still runs great today after 7 years of using it. With that, I went with the i9, the 9900KS. This is pretty much your best CPU for gaming at the moment. Granted, AMD does offer some more workstation opportunities. I'm going to be learning Blender and kind of getting into that, but nowhere near the need of going all out quite in that aspect. Probably be more useful for gaming, and really I don't know that I will utilize that CPU anytime soon. I also went with the 2080 Ti, kind of to hit the overkill of everything else is. Figure why not go all out. With that graphics card, I won't need to overclock at all. I'm probably going to see what I can do to push it. I will need to upgrade my monitor, of course. Its ability to do 4K is nice, but that's only if you're sticking with 60 frames per second. So I'll probably go with something 1440 here in the near future. With it being the mini ITX, I had to go with the small form factor power supply, which I went with Corsair. The way I see it, there's really no better power supply on the market. Your reliability and your quality of the build really puts it up there. 750 watts, hopefully that's enough. Doing all of my calculations, it should be enough. It might cut me short if I do plan on overclocking anything in the future, but I'll have to test that as it goes. Small form factor doesn't really offer much over that. I think there's maybe one or two on the market that hit 800 watt, maybe 850. 32 gigs of RAM. I went with G-Skill because, again, with the quality, it's what I've used on all of my builds and any builds I've recommended for friends to do as well. I went with 32 gigabytes, dual channel. Mini ITX only gives you the opportunity for 2 sticks of RAM. Was going to go 64, but really didn't think that it was going to be useful at all. Already 32 is going to be plenty. I did go with the low latency, so it'll be 14 across the board, which is really nice. 3200 megahertz, that I might actually try to overclock to 3600. Now for solid states, as you can see, I went with 2 M2s, give me the ability for 3 terabytes. I went with Separate due to the price of it. As you can see with the rockets, Samsung's got the Evos, which are phenomenal and really overpriced. For these 3 terabytes, I got them cheaper than what 2 terabytes would have been, about half the price of what 2 terabytes would have been if I would have went the Samsung route. Now another thing you see on this table that really takes a lot of space is the liquid cooling. So with the Shift X, they recommend using a 240 or 280 radiator on the side, and then if you want, you can stuff a 120 on the bottom. I don't think that would be enough cooling for everything I'm cramming in here, and a lot of reviews have actually brought up the issue with not being able to cool the Shift quite effectively or efficiently. So what I did is I went through, did a cardboard cutout, kind of tested it out, and found that I could most likely stuff this 480 on the outside, sandwiched in between the case itself and the cover. I did have to modify the cover a little bit to get it to fit, but it should work just fine. The case will be modified, so if you think you can just buy all these parts together and put them together without cutting, sorry, that's just not going to happen. I will be cutting another hole on the other side of the frame as well, so I can stick the 120 up above the power supply, granted that fits. If not, I will have to put the 120 on the bottom to kind of match everything else. I went with the heat killer. Man, it froze up. We'll cut that and fix it. Now with all the liquid cooling, I did not back down on the air side of it either. I went with Noctua's industrial grade 120s. I'll stuff 4 of them in the case. Phanteks does come with 2 140s. I am replacing the top 140 with the 120, so it'll match up with the radiator better. However, the bottom 140 I am replacing with an industrial Noctua 140 as well to get as much cooling as possible. Now, to not cheap out on the RGB, because as we know, every build has to have RGB, I went with the halos from Phanteks. Now these give me the ability to put these on the fans and add that extra RGB lighting that you don't see with Noctua, because, well, Noctua doesn't really care about flashiness, they want performance. And then another thing you can see is I went with the purple Primochill fittings. This will kind of go well with the Joker theme, as well as something you can't see back here. I got the neon green liquid to kind of give that the green and the purple aspect. We'll see what RGB kind of matches best to really bring that out. I plan on putting vinyls and that as well on the inside to kind of add to the theme and bring a little more life out of it. And I think that pretty much covers everything. My next steps will be to go through and start modifying the frame and adding water blocks to not only my CPU but my GPUs. Both of them will be needing to get adapted for water cooling. I'm going to wrap it up for my first video. Hopefully you guys are excited for the build. I plan to do it in a couple parts, but I also plan to have one video that covers the entire video, the whole build. That way, if you don't want to watch all the parts, you don't have to. You can just cut through, see the video, see the finished product, and give any feedback. I will add links to all of these parts to, if you like them or are interested, you can check them out, maybe order them. If you like this video and you look forward to more, please hit subscribe and like at the bottom. Thank you.